Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
All right, Peter, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies.
No, not another episode. Oh, no.
Another episode, 219 episodes. We're going for the marathon, brother, the marathon.
Marathon. Bill, Hey, Bill, when does it end? What? How many are there?
219. Maybe it'll end next week. You never know.
If we strike it rich, we're getting a boat and moving out.
Oh, yeah. We'll have to get a satellite Wi-Fi connection. I can see it now.
Straight to the beach.
Episode 219 is called, ready for this, Peter? You're going to like this.
Always.
You're going to like this. SWAT tactics for converting suspects into prospects and making deals quickly and easily advanced.
What, converting suspects to prospects?
Wow. Advanced.
That's a good one.
Advanced. Now, ready for
this?
this?
Well, it would be advanced if you can get a suspect to be a prospect.
So you ready for this?
Yeah.
SWAT means suspect wants a transaction.
Nice. When did you come up with that? About 4:30 this morning?
Yesterday when I wrote the podcast. SWAT means suspect wants a transaction. And the most valuable but highest undeveloped muscle for most creative real estate investors is converting suspects into prospects the first 15 minutes of meeting the seller. That is the most underdeveloped skill in the industry. End of story.
Wait a minute. Hey, Bill, did I inspire you to do this? When that lady called me and left the voicemail, I'm suspicious. I don't believe this. And 10 minutes later, I had her laughing on the phone. Did I inspire you?
You didn't.
Yeah.
I had already thought of it the week before, but you are right. That did happen.
Yeah, I talked to her last night, and she gave me all her data. And what do we do next? I'm not sure it's a deal, but she's very, very cooperative and very nice. Thank you. Have you a nice night, Peter. I'll talk to you later. Talk to your partner and call me back. Thank you.
Why do you not think it's a deal?
I don't see too much of a value play in it.
That's my job.
Yeah, so I think
I want to know. Stop! You're getting me excited here. We won't be doing a podcast. We'll be talking about this damn deal. So stop!
I know. I got you. I got you off track.
Stop!
Hey, this is real life, folks. I mean, this stuff real. It was last night. This is real. We're not making this stuff up.
All right, even worse. So let me back up here a little bit. You diverted us yet again, Peter.
But wasn't it exciting?
And the most...
I converted a suspect to a
talking. Stop talking. Hello, let me finish. And the most valuable but highest underdeveloped muscle for most creative real estate investors is converting suspects into prospects the first 15 minutes of meeting the seller. Even worse, many creative real estate investors think they have to be salesy or even have years of experience to create and use this skill. When the truth be told, it could be the simplest part of your career to learn if you listen to this entire podcast and hear the core basics that are now setting new and effective standards in this often confused industry. So, if you are looking for an edge to make more of your leads to convert into massive profitable deals, sit back, sip your coffee, and take lots of notes, because I am going to pull back the curtain and show you stuff that will make your mind flip. You like that? Flip more than ever. And this advanced talk will help quantum leap the newbie or the pro, only because I have never heard this with other real estate gurus actually talk about it. Never mind try to teach it. So, get comfortable and let's go. Okay, now you can talk, Peter.
Quantum leap.
You could tell your stories.
No, it's okay.
Good morning, Jessica. Good morning, Reg. On Facebook, if you're listening to me right now, you can, which means you're live. Reg says he's got his coffee ready. So, if you're listening to me live right now, we are these days streaming on Facebook, which we've been doing for a long time. But I have new software and I can see you easier than I ever could before. And I don't have Emma here. I can do it all myself, so I don't have to have a translator. So if you have any questions during the podcast, you can put them in the Facebook chat or comment section. And as long as I see it pop up and we can handle it, then we'll answer the question. Or you can go to YouTube. We are live streaming on YouTube. We're also live streaming on Twitter, but I'm not quite sure how that's working these days. I know that we're live streaming there, but I don't go there very much, so I have to go check that out. And if you need any help, you can go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/support, or just go to flippinghousesforrookies.com. Top right-hand side, it says support. Okay. Also, make sure you subscribe to wherever you're listening to us so that you know what we're doing when new things come up. And make sure you leave us a review. If you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com and you scroll down, the podcasts are there. And right underneath the podcasts where they're listed, there is a review button, and you can give us reviews there. Or you can give us testimonials right on the page that says proof it works. And that's flippinghousesforrookies.com, proof it works. Last thing I got to say, just to get all the housework out of the way, if you're listening to us or watching on the phone, if you go into the description of the podcast, you will see there's a link there, and it will take you to our free stuff page. So click on that link, and there's over 25 documents, videos, other things there. There's a bunch of stuff there.
Scripts.
Scripts. Oh, that's what I forgot. Scripts. Yeah. Okay. So,
and you know why you should go to it, folks? It's free.
Exactly. All right. So let's start off with the SWAT aspect. Suspects want a transaction. Okay.
Yep.
The only reason why you aren't giving them a transaction is because you did something wrong. Okay? Now, I'm going to go off script here for a second. The only reason why a suspect does not convert to a prospect is because they don't feel like what you are offering them has value to them. Mm-hmm. So obviously, if you have a person that has a house worth $200,000 and they're asking for $200,000 and they want their $200,000 in 30 days, you may not want to convert that person. But the truth is what they want is $200,000 in 30 days, and you can convert them into a deal if you wanted to give them $200,000 in 30 days. So the only reason why, and we're going to talk about this the whole podcast, the only reason why they don't convert from a suspect to a prospect, and suspect means that they're not ready to do something, prospect means they are ready to do something, right? The only reason why they don't convert is because they feel like you're not giving them what they want. Is that clear, Peter?
That makes sense. You know, you walk in the restaurant. We went once, and my wife ordered a hamburger, and they say, it comes with this and this and this on it. She goes, I don't want that on it. Well, that's how the chef does it, but I don't want it that way. Well, that's how we do it. We don't change. Goodbye, and we left. Right. You know, seriously. Right. How hard is that? Just give me the damn hamburger.
So the magic of this podcast is not so much giving them what they want. I don't want that to be confused in this podcast. What I want you to understand is you need to figure out quickly and easily what it is that they want so you can decide whether you're going to give it to them or not. So you need to find out what they need and want so you can deliver it. So the point of this podcast is to help you do that, because here's what I have found. If you don't have this skill, and I'm way off script, I actually had this. We're going to go back because I have this all written down anyways, but I'm kind of off script. So my intention for you is this. And I'm telling you, I've probably said this with other things, but this is truly magical, and here's the reason why. If you spend a half an hour with a seller, prospect or suspect, either way, okay, and you don't know in the first 5, maybe 10 minutes what they want and whether you can deliver it to them, then you just wasted 20 minutes on the phone, which means you could have done 3 calls in that 30 minutes instead of 1. So the point is to find out what they need and want, not even try to give it to them on the phone. Lately, what we do is we find out what they want and then we send them an offer and then we call back. Okay, so the amount of time you spend on the phone, doing this, what I call triage, which is in an emergency room, that's where you go in and they size you up, like how bad is your emergency, where do you need to go once they evaluate your emergency. Like if I was in a motorcycle accident and my leg is missing, then that's going to be a lot more tragic and a lot more need the doctor's attention more than if I went in and I had a bee sting. You know what I mean? There's a big difference there, okay? Sure. So not to be gross about it, but that's how it is. So this is the same thing with you when you're talking to prospects or suspects or talking to sellers in general. You need to make that evaluation quick. And you need to be able to know, am I going to surgery to sew my leg back on, or am I going to go to a nurse and get some, antidote for a bee sting, a shot or something like that and go home. Okay? Yep. And you need to be able to figure this out quickly, and this is not a hard talent. In fact, if you stick around to the end of this show, I am going to do something I personally have wanted to do probably for 50 podcasts, and I've just never done it. And I'm going to give you some cool shit at the end of this podcast. Okay, so stick around. All right. And I don't mean to do that like as a some ploy to get you to stay on the podcast. It's just where I wrote it in the podcast. So that's where it is. So I know in the past I've told everyone that there's prospects and there's suspects, which is very true. But today I want to give my true opinion of this, which I just did a little bit. The only reason most don't get suspects to convert is because they don't know how to do it. And it's not the conversion that's the problem. So it's like too many people are studying how to convert the suspect to a prospect. Wrong target. What it is the qualification process and whether you can give it to them or not. Right? So like Peter said, he went into a restaurant with his wife and the chef wouldn't cook the hamburger the way she wanted. The problem wasn't getting them into the restaurant because they knew they wanted a hamburger and they went into the restaurant to get it. If you know Peter's wife, she's a total carnivore. It's weird, but the only thing she eats is bloody red meat. There's not very much more that she eats. Honestly, she doesn't. She's like a very, very, and it's not a diet or anything like that. It's just what she eats, right?
Meat and potato Irish girl.
Yeah, so we strategically, when we go for dinner, like last weekend we went for dinner, we strategically have to pick restaurants that have bloody red meat, prime rib, steak, hamburgers, because otherwise she won't go, because she won't eat, right? So that wasn't the problem. The restaurant chose to not service you once they knew what you wanted. So
yeah.
So the point that I'm making here is it sounds stupid to you and I, but there was some technical reason in the background, excuse me, that they couldn't deliver that product. It's no different than us not being able to deliver $200,000 for a $200,000 house in cash in 30 days. So there's some technical reason behind the scenes that we can't deliver that product. All I want to stress here, and I want to stress this a lot, is you gotta know what the seller wants quickly. And then you can decide whether or not you can bring value to that seller. And once you figure that out, your life changes because the way you deal with prospects and suspects is completely amazing. This is the preempt of being a reluctant buyer. Okay, so this is like ground zero for being a reluctant buyer. Once you know what they want, you can decide whether you're going to be a reluctant buyer. So I covered this in last night's meetup, which, by the way, was phenomenal. The meetup I thought was phenomenal. I mean, I haven't gone to see much feedback. I asked people to leave me testimonials, and I don't know if they did or didn't. It's kind of funny how that happens, because I give my heart and soul out and ask for testimonials, and I don't get many sometimes. I don't know why people can't do that for me, but maybe I'm not as good as I think I am, Peter. Maybe I'm not delivering value. Maybe that's what it is.
Well, I don't think so. It just takes an effort to do things, you know.
Yeah. So, Desiree, you have to go on to the Flipping Houses for Rookies website, and it's on there. So if you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com, top right-hand side, it says proof it works. Okay, good. So let me just keep going here. Truth is, if you know where your, first of all, you need to know your prospect or suspect has what's motivating them. Is it pain or is it pleasure? Right?
Mm-hmm.
And you need to know this within the first 10 minutes of talking to them. You can't give them value until you need to know, is it pain or is it pleasure? Right? They just want to know how you're going to help them. That's all they want to know. Okay, which is why we don't give the offer until we know that. Okay? You need to find out what they want quickly and then get off the phone. You don't need to deliver what they want on the phone. You can do that with a good offer pack. A good email and a good offer pack will do that. Okay? And I'm going to tell you what I have found recently that I think slows down or stops people ghosting me is I tell them that I'm going to give them a cash offer. Now, my cash offer is 50 cents on a dollar. But they answer the phone once I tell them what my cash offer is. Okay? Now, in my mind, I'm trying to figure out how to change that.
Wait, back up a sec. You said once you tell them what the cash offer is, they do answer the phone or don't answer?
No, when I tell them I have a cash offer for them, they want to talk to me.
Right.
So part of the problem that I'm running into right now is we give them, with the offer calculator, we give them 3 offers. We give them a cash offer, a slot deal offer, and a lease option offer. Mm-hmm. And then if they don't like the cash offer, they just ghost you because they don't want to rent.
Yeah.
So somehow in my mind, I'm trying to figure out how can I give them an offer that doesn't have the cash offer and then tell them I'll call them with the cash number.
I see.
I haven't figured that out yet, but I will.
Okay.
All right. So
I see what you mean.
Most try to build rapport, Peter, when they're talking to people. They try to build rapport by talking about family, sports, hobbies, all that sales talk. So they're trying to build rapport. I'm telling you, that's wrong, wrong, wrong. That's not how you build rapport. You do not build rapport that way. I don't give a flying crap about how many kids you have and what you're doing this Sunday. I don't. Not to be mean, but I don't. Okay? Because I just don't. I'm your friend for 20 years, and sometimes I don't even give a shit what you're doing. Okay? So why do I care about a seller?
Bill, I don't know if you give a shit what you're doing. I don't know if you give a shit what you're doing.
Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I don't. If it's not a real estate deal, I'm zoning out. Okay? So here's how you give them. This is how you build rapport. You want to know how to build rapport instantly?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So you give them what they want quickly. You talk about what they want quickly, right? So let me explain. Okay, so you got to give what they want, right? So let me explain. There's two ways you can do this. Okay, the seller has choices, right? They have choices of what they can do versus solutions. Okay, so one of the things that I noticed, listen to recordings of different coaching clients, private coaching clients, because they record their calls and I listen to them, right? Is they spend too much time talking about the choices. They keep talking about the choices. So you can do this easily if you don't work on the fake rapport stuff, but instead know this: the choices are anything they can do. Like, they can go into foreclosure, right? They could ignore the house. They can ignore a vacant house and have it all grown over. Or they can they can ask or choose to try to get $50,000 over market value. Those are all choices, right? But solutions, these are different. If you know their pain or their pleasure, you give them that. You talk about that, right? Like, for example, the guy that's $50,000 over value. So you talk about that. How could you give him $50,000 over value? Well, I could give somebody $50,000 over value easily, right? What's my saying? What's my saying all the time? My saying is you pick the price. As long as I pick the terms, we'll make a deal. So that guy that's going to be $50,000 over value, instead of paying him $1,000 or $1,200 a month for a payment, principal only payment, I'm going to pay him $500 or $600 a month, get more cash flow, and I'm going to go for 15 years. I could do that.
Yeah,
right?
He wants more money. He has to wait more time.
Yeah, right. So it can be done. The point is I needed to know that right up front, right? So a solution, they're different than choices. If you know their pain or pleasure, you give them that, especially if it is from the choices you give them, right? So I start my deals off. I start most of my conversations off with, would you sell the house for what you owe on it? Now, I'm a little bit crazy with that because it could be $100,000 worth of equity, and I'll still ask that question. I do not recommend people listening that you do that until you get a little bit more talented and you can turn it into a joke. Because they'll be like, I can't do that. I own it for half the money. And I'd be like, well, I'm an investor. What'd you expect? You know what I mean? So I can make a joke out of it. But and sometimes it backfires on me. But here's the point. Here's the point. If the house is somewhere in the vicinity of a $35,000 equity position, right, or 15 to 20%, okay, of whatever the value of the house is, you should ask that question. Would you be willing to sell the house for what you owe on it? And they say no. The follow-up question is, well, would you be willing to rent it to me until I can buy it in a year or two? Or would you be willing to do a lease option? And it walks them right into that conversation. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah, so for example, if they owed $100,000, it was a $100,000 house, and they still owed 85%, there's a 15% bit of equity. You could ask that question without too much concern, right?
Right.
Is that what you mean?
Right.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I need to stop for a second. I'm sorry about this, but I have my attention on something. Desiree, you put in the chat that you didn't get a link. Did you not get a link for the meetup last night? Because if you're telling me that, you're about the sixth person that's told me that this morning. So could you just type in the chat that you did? We emailed them twice yesterday. I just want to make sure that, just let me know what happened, or send me a support ticket, okay? And if you send me a support ticket, what happened, I'll send you a copy of the meetup link for free, okay? So no wonder why my attendance was low last night. Thank you, Desiree. I had over 100 people sign up for last night's meetup. You imagine that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
Whoa. So some people weren't getting the email, the link, huh?
I don't know what's going on. And Emma's arguing with me, telling me that she's got it figured out. So I'm going to tell you right now, I made a decision this morning. Emma's off the case. She got fired from that job because too many people not getting a link doesn't work for me. So I'll go figure that out. So, all right. So let's go back. So choices are anything they can do. Thank you, Desiree. Anything they can do, like they can do foreclosure, they can ignore the house, they can ask over $50,000. They could list it with a realtor if they want, right? Mm-hmm. Solutions, these are different. If you know their pain or their pleasure, you can give them that, especially if it's from the choices that you gave them, right? So like my choices are, would you sell the house for what you owe on it? No. Okay, would you be willing to do a lease option? I don't know. And then those are choices. I'm giving them choices, right? So so some of the choices they can have is they can do a deep discount and get their money now. So if they want all their money now, they can get a deep discount, which, by the way, I think a deep discount is between 25 and 30% or more. Okay? So it's just less money. Or they could do a rent-to-own and get more money. Or they could do owner financing and even get more money. Right? It's just when they're going to get the money that makes a difference. Okay?
Yeah.
So most important, you need to give them value conveyance, Peter. You need to give them value conveyance. Does that make sense?
Explain that a little more. Value conveyance. I never heard you use those two connected like that. But can you just say a little more about it?
So what do the words mean?
Well, value is just something that is extra for them. Conveyance is giving it to them.
There you go.
Okay.
Right? This is where you convey the value of working with you and your solutions that they don't have from anyone else. Just you. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to talk about that, and I'm going to come back to that, okay? Value conveyance. But here's how you can portray or build or create value quickly. Okay? Number one, talk about what they want, not what you want. Too many investors look at deals like, what am I going to get? I'm going to make $30,000 on this deal, right?
Yeah, me.
Which is so not true, because when you do the math, those $30,000 deals are probably about $8,000 or $10,000 deals after they do all the closings and everything, right? So talk about what they want, okay? By the way, Peter, just in case you're curious, this works for wives too. I've tested.
Gee, I need some help there.
I've tested it. Now, I'm not doing marriage counselor, so get off the couch, okay? No marriage counseling here, but it works, okay? Number one, talk about what they want. Number two, tell them how you're going to deliver it to them so they feel confident that they're going to get it. Number three, make sure you have confidence, so they believe you and believe you that you're going to perform. Right? And the way you do that is you back your words with action. So you could do smaller actions, smaller things to prove that you're trustworthy because you've done things that you say. Like, Peter, I'm going to call you back tomorrow at 2. Mm-hmm. And then I talk to you tomorrow and I say, you know what, Peter, I'm going to get the comps. I'll call you by 7 o'clock tonight with the comps.
Yeah. You
could do little steps like that builds trust. But it also builds confidence. You have confidence when you talk to them, but it builds confidence in them that what you said in number 2, which is you're going to deliver to them what you say you're going to do, it builds confidence very quickly if you just I don't want to say make up, but you create instances where you can show them subliminally that you are going to do what you say you're going to do. Okay?
No, it's true, because think of the opposite. Somebody says they'll do something and they don't do it. Even if it's small, does it really matter? You just lose a little with them.
Yeah.
If it's 2, 3, 4 small things, you just get this bad feeling.
Right.
And God forbid, what if they want to do a big thing and they don't do it? Not good.
Right. So that's funny you say that, because I have a heavy-duty recruiter trying to recruit me to do something right now, to go work somewhere. And just what you're saying, I've made some decisions based on words not matching what they do. And they don't even know I've made those decisions.
Oh.
Because there was just some slightnesses off. And I'm like, huh. You know, or I'll be like, I know somebody else that knows this person, and they're like, yeah, they told me the same thing. So when they were delivering these things to me, I thought it was personal to me. To come to find out, it's just their pitch. And it immediately changed my viewpoint on, well, we'll disregard that half-hour conversation, right? It was just a sales pitch, right? Okay.
That's too bad.
Yeah. Interesting. So thank you guys. Johnny was telling me that he only got his app through. He got his link through WhatsApp. Can you do this? Reggie wants to know if you can do this on your own house. Absolutely. Got to get them. Desiree says you got to get them to see the mental image picture. That's exactly right. That's exactly right. You got it. Only thing I would add about that, Desiree, is the mental image picture. Is if you're going to paint that picture, make it the ideal scene, so they can see it and you can strive to it. You know, make it like where you're going to land and what's the ideal scene. Okay. So number 3 is make sure they have confidence. So make sure you have confidence so they believe that you're going to perform. Back your words with actions. That builds trust fast. Number 4, and I feel like we scattered this, so I'm going to go back to number 1. So number 1 is talk about what they want. Number 2 is then tell them how you're going to deliver it, so they do have confidence in you and you can deliver. Number 3, make sure you can have confidence. You have confidence, so they believe you can perform and back your actions with words, so it builds trust. And number 4, what they need to know about you. And a lot of new people worry about this. What do they need to know about you? Not things like you've been in business for 20 years, you're a music teacher, you're a educational trainer. They don't need to know those things, Peter. People don't care about that, okay? What they do want to know, they don't need to know how much money's in your bank account. They don't need to know about your credit. They don't need to know any of that. What they do need to know is that you have connections with investors, with money, and can close quickly. What they do need to know is you have buyers waiting for properties like this, and you can email them or minimally go on to Facebook Marketplace and get them quickly because you know how to find them. Okay? What they do need to know is your partner or mentor, aka me, right, have done this a lot and can hold their hand. Right? So I'll tell people, yeah, I've done a few hundred deals. I only tell them that because I want them to know that it's just a short sentence for me to say, I have a lot of experience and I'm going to hold your hand. I'm not bragging about doing a few hundred deals. In fact, I should change that. I should change it to 300 deals because I've probably done more than that. I mean, I've done a few hundred deals just with my private coaching clients. I mean, I've done hundreds and hundreds of deals, but it's not the number that matters, right? Like, I've had this happen. I just had this happen the other day where I was talking to somebody on the phone and he's like talking down at me because he had money and he's thinking that because I'm not making him a cash offer, I'm below him. So he said to me, you know, why don't you just make a cash offer? And I popped it on him. I'm like, well, I got to tell you the truth. I've done hundreds of deals. And you want to know why I did hundreds of deals? He goes, no, because I don't use all my capital to buy those deals. And if I did, I wouldn't have been able to buy hundreds of deals because the banks would have stopped me because I wouldn't have been able to stretch the way I stretched to do hundreds of deals.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I would need tens of millions of dollars to do that, and I'm not doing that. I could go raise that money. I could do whatever I want to do, but I didn't want to do that. And the guy, I shut him up loudly. He didn't know what to say. Okay.
Yeah, you know, the funny thing about that is it takes no talent to write a check.
Right.
If you got a bunch of money sitting around because you got an inheritance,
right,
or daddy had money, or you had some dumbass job that made a lot of money ripping people off, or God knows what.
And
but to do what you do, to do what we do, buying houses, no money down, that takes talent.
Yeah. Especially pretty houses. Ugly houses, it's not so much of a talent, but pretty houses, it definitely is. And we talked about in last week's podcast, people with money tend to leap without education. Mm-hmm. And then they make excuses like the economy was bad, or the realtor screwed me, or they make all these excuses of why their lack of education cost them money. Which is why I say, you think education's expensive? Try ignorance. And that's the exact reason why. You got the ability to write a check and you go buy a property, and next thing you know, you're losing 10 grand. Huh. I would think that you could have bought my $500 course and not learned how to do that.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? So they just need to know how you're going to help them. Okay? Mm-hmm. Now listen to this. If you're sipping your coffee right now and you're writing stuff down, this is one you need to write down. This is a point in the podcast that should be ingrained in the back of your forehead so you see it all the time. Okay? This is one of those things that I'm going to blurt out, and I don't want it to get lost in the shuffle. Okay? The number one way to make money is to stop trying to learn how to make money and start learning how you can help people to get what they want. Okay? So the number one way to make money is stop trying to learn how to make money. Learn how to help people to give them what they want. Now, my mother sent me a text last week, said I had to watch this TV show. It's, what is it, Billionaire Makeover or Billionaire? Oh my goodness.
Was there a city attached? Like New York or Las Vegas?
No. Let me look. Hang on one second. I should have wrote this down. I didn't know I was going to.
You said it was was it your mom or your sister? What'd you say?
My mom.
Your mom. Wow. Was she starting to believe in you, Bill?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Undercover Billionaire.
Wow.
I was at my daughter's one and we turned it on. It's on Discovery. So I had a huge epiphany about this. It was like, I don't even know how it just happened. I watched probably 20 minutes of this show. That's all I've watched. And so the gist of the show is he's a billionaire. He's got all this money. He's got a loan company. They loan money. And he's a billionaire. And he takes $100 and an old pickup truck and he goes to a city that he's never been in before, and he's going to make $1 million business in 90 days. So he's like,
whoa.
He's like living in this truck, because he's only got $88 after he bought his food. And he's like, anyways, he makes this comment that one of the things that he learned a long time ago that made him a lot of money is to find the buyer first and then give them what they want. And he's a billionaire because of it. So seek my advice here. Okay? So it impinged me so much that you and I, in fact, I went and hired a coach to help me with this, have been seriously wondering how I can shift my business a little bit where we spend more time looking for buyers. So when we walk into the house, we can say, oh, I have 93 people on my list that would be interested in this house this afternoon. And that would give a lot of confidence. And I actually have a couple ideas, I just haven't had a chance to do that, on how the listeners could build that list quickly.
Cool.
And I'm hoping that comes to fruition and I could maybe turn that into a podcast. Okay?
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so the number one way to make money is to stop trying to learn how to make money and start learning how to help people to get what they want. It is truly amazing. Right? I remember one time I wanted to donate some money to a church, and I'm not talking $500. I'm talking about a lot, a good chunk of dough, and I really wanted to do this. But I was in financial straits. I was coming out of a business that just went defunct, and I was like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, and I was trying to fix it. You know what I did, Peter?
I do.
Because I've told you this.
Yeah.
You want to tell?
Go ahead.
You want to tell it, or you want me? Go ahead. What did I do?
Well, since you were stuck, you went and helped other people with their situation, and for some reason that seemed to work for you. I remember when you came to my house probably 6 years ago for no reason at all to go over my music business, give me some ideas how I could advertise or do other things, contact the music teachers in the schools, just ideas you don't even know my business, but you just pulled it out of your head. And there was no. I said, "Do you want anything for coming to visit?" No, no. Sure, I'll give you lunch or something. He said, no, that's fine. You weren't asking anything. You just did it. And then I guess stuff worked out for you.
Screwed up. I could have got a $15 cigar out of you.
I could have got. I don't know about that, but I was thinking maybe a hamburger or steak.
Well, a steak would cost you $15 or $12.
Yeah, I'm not promoting your smoking.
Whoa! You've been talking to my wife.
I know your wife very well. We have conversations.
Knowledge equals control, Peter. You know that? Of course you do. Knowledge equals control, right? But that's what buzzwords are. Knowledge equals control. Your priorities are dictated by what you know. So knowledge equals control. I'm not sure I'm 100% in agreement with that. And here's the reason why. What you know or what you don't know dictates or controls what you want to do or your priorities. Okay? So let me give you an example.
Yeah.
I tell you to meet me in China on Wednesday of next week and I will change your life.
Okay.
Right? Not enough knowledge. Right? So the questions you start asking yourself are questions that aren't good, by the way, are questions like, I wonder how he'll change my life. What's he mean by change my life?
Mm-hmm.
What part is he going to change? Right?
Is it something I want to change or he thinks he wants me to change?
Right.
Maybe it's, I don't, what are you going to, I don't know. What is it?
I've heard this before. Why should I believe him? I've been let down by stuff like this in the past.
Oh, hell yeah.
Right? So that sneaks in, right? Is it worth the time and money to find out? Is it worth me taking a week off from my job and buying a $2,000 airplane ticket and a hotel and all that? Is it really worth it? So your priority of what you're going to do is based off of the knowledge that you have or don't have. You get what I'm saying? Now,
I was thinking, where am I going in China? It's awful big.
Right?
Tell me where.
Right? So now change that knowledge. Okay? And say, I tell you, Peter, I'm going to meet you in Beijing at the Marriott Hotel, the 5th floor. Okay, room, 565, whatever, right? At
what time?
At 2:00 China, Beijing time next Wednesday, and I'm going to give you $10 million. Okay, and I'm going to show you a bank statement, and I'm going to show you a legal document that has your name on it. That when you show up, you're going to sign it. But we have to do it in China because that's where the money is, because the banker that has the money is the only person that we can see to get this money transferred to you. We have to go there and see the banker, and we have to get all this stuff done. So I'm making the story up, so it sounds a little scammy, but I would have to prove to you some sort of evidence that what I'm telling you is legitimate.
Sure.
Now watch. Now watch. So your knowledge is different now, right? So now watch the questions. How do I get there? Right? How much will it cost me to get there? Right?
How's my passport?
Yeah. How much time do I need to take off from work to go get this $10 million? Do I need to quit my job? Right? See, the knowledge changed the priority. Because the first knowledge base, the priority was probably to ignore me because it sounds bogus and he's going to change my life.
Yeah.
Right? But the second one, when I told you I'm going to give you $10 million and I show you a bank account and demonstrate evidence, your priority changed because now your priority is like, how do I get to China? How do I go get that $10 million?
Yeah.
Okay? Which is why I say all the time, you don't know what you don't know. So what do you think happens with your seller when you're talking to your seller? They have the first example, they have their own knowledge base, what they think they know.
Right.
Right? And you have your knowledge base of what you think you know. And neither of them could be even correct. So what happens now? Right? See, the knowledge changes the priority. And you're going to operate from it. It becomes senior data. Okay, of just common data. So there's a lot of common data, but some of them are senior. So if you look at a triangle, it's like the data at the very tip of the top of the triangle is what's holding all that data together. Right?
Yes, it's more important.
Yep, more important. Or it's junk information, or it's in your junk mind where your junk mind's like your subconscious mind, where you thought you needed it but you don't. Let me give you an example. I'll give you a classic example of data. You turn on the news this morning at 5:30. That's what time I turned it on. Okay, and I do two things. I check out the weather, and I want to see what the traffic girl looks like today, because she's cute. Okay, my wife says I'm disgusting for doing that, but oh well, I'm a guy. I'm sorry. Okay, so bottom line is, sorry about that, ladies, but it's just the way it works. So I'm just joking around. So the point is I look at the weather today, and he says, oh, it's going to be 75 degrees, and we might have rain this afternoon. Okay, is that priority information for me? Only because I want to know how to dress today. Other than that, it's not senior data, right? It's just data, right? Blah, 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 blah.
Right, but if you're a landscaper or a painter, you need to know if it's going to rain on the house, you can't paint it today.
That would count. But I was thinking a little bit more severe than that. Suppose today there was going to be a hurricane. How would that data become senior? Well, damn, I might lose my house today. I might end up having to move because I got 3 feet of water in my house and I can't live there.
Yep.
That became a senior data. It's not just regular information that I absorbed. It's like there's a priority now.
Right.
So do you see how the data changes the priority?
Yeah.
So here's my question. Not for you, well, for you, but many other people. How do you qualify information anyway?
You want an answer?
Sure.
Well, any information I get, I look at it, see if I can use it to further my purposes, my survival, my family, and if it relates to another person, like how would that help them? How would that impact on their lives? Do I have anything to do with it? If it impacts them, should I help? Should I get involved? Should I join in some group and do something about this information?
That's what I heard.
Excuse me.
It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit.
Excuse me.
It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Here's the reason why. Because based on what's happening, based on your knowledge of your past, you can't make good qualifying data. Because if you've never made money in the past, or you've never been successful in the past, how could you make decisions based on being successful in the future? You've never done it.
Yeah.
You don't know what it's like. You have knowledge that's not successful. So everything you just said is just you bullshitting yourself, thinking that you're doing something good. All these other people, you're going to do this. It's a wish list. It's not worth making decisions on. Now, I don't disagree with you planting it there and saying, I'm going to head towards that goal. I'm going to get that thing. But I'm not talking about goal setting here. I'm talking about qualifying data. If you have information, you're going to decide what information to follow and what information not to follow based on your past experiences. And if they haven't been good past experiences, how are you going to make a good decision? So I suggest what you do, and I'm not telling this to you, and I'm sorry for if I invalidated you, but it proved the point. Okay, we'll deal with that later.
Well, I hope it makes for good podcast fodder.
Yeah. Fodder. Oh my God, you're getting even with me now. Okay. So think of it this way. Instead of just relying on yourself and your thoughts, because you always think you're right. Every human being always thinks they're right.
You have to, or you'll die. You need to be right, or you're going to be wrong, and wrong isn't good.
So you think you're right, and you don't want to be wrong. I mean, that's just the way the human mind works. So everybody thinks they're right. Okay?
Yep.
If you could take a third eye, or you could step back from that thought that I'm always right and humble yourself a little bit, you might want to take a look at some demonstration, some good demonstration, or statistics, or see with your own eyes how something travels. Now, I'm a little bit nervous on saying that because I got to tell you, the other day I sat down for lunch and I had the National Geographic channel on, and I don't watch much TV, guys. It just so happens that these last couple things I'm talking about were TV shows. And I watched a TV show on National Geographic where they talk about the correlation between what you see and what you hear. And they have tests that say your hearing is selected based on what you're seeing. It was fascinating. So you believe what you see, and you hear what you think you're seeing. So your hearing is tainted towards what you're seeing. And they had, it was a half-hour show, or maybe it was an hour, but I watched it for half an hour. They had test after test after test that proved this. So much so that I was fascinated with when they make these animated TV shows, how they make the noises in the background.
Yeah.
So because you can't see them making the noises, and you see the cartoon with, like, one of them was they were showing about it was raining hamburgers and how they made the splat noises of the hamburgers hitting the ground. When you watch the cartoon, it sounds like the hamburger splatting. But when you saw how they made the sound, was actually wet rags, and they were throwing them on the floor.
Yeah.
Totally different picture.
Yeah.
Okay? So demonstration and what you see with your eyes is pretty important. Which is why on my meetup and when we talk about it, I started doing the whiteboard with my computer, because people have to see how the math works before they start believing me, because otherwise they won't believe me. They just think I'm another one of those gurus that's trying to sell them a course, trying to do no money down. And I'm probably the furthest thing from that ever. I could give a flying crap if you buy my stuff. I've made 4 offers in the last 7 days. I'm making my money on real estate. If you don't want to know what I'm doing, I'm cool with that. Just leave. I'm good. I'll just go make more offers. You know what I mean? I'm such a jerk about that, because it's like I want to help people. I believe in giving back. I believe that it's not just all about me and my family. It's about mankind too. You know, and I want to help mankind. I want to have not only have a sandbox, but I want to have people to play in the sandbox with me, because it's no fun being in the sandbox by yourself. Okay, so I couldn't find that. I couldn't find that sandbox that I liked, so I made my own. And here we are.
Yep.
Okay, so watch this now, Peter, right?
Yeah.
Suppose you think you needed to make money.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
Let me change that. Suppose you think you needed money to make money.
Yeah.
And that's a stable reality for you.
It takes money to make money. It's a saying.
You know that because your family's done that for years, and that's what your dad indoctrinated into you, and you've just proven this over and over and over again in your life.
Mm-hmm.
That's the stable datum based on the knowledge you have. Right? So the priority is get money so I can make more money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Are you ever going to ask yourself how you can make money without money? No, right?
Well, you should, though, because it's like when you go get a job, you need experience to get the job, but you don't have experience because you didn't have a job. How are you going to get a job? But, how's the first money come along?
Right.
Where's the cycle start? Someplace the money has to start without money somewhere.
Right.
So you should ask.
You got to buy a car, you got to buy the uniform, whatever, right?
Yeah.
So it's a whole mental block now, right?
Yeah.
Unless there is a pressure or a pain that's connected to it.
You mean to stir you into action or what?
Yeah, so you have this, I need money to make money. So you're going to have a mental block there. You're not going to ask yourself, how can I make money without money? Unless you have a mental, unless you have a pressure or pain there.
Or how about if you don't have any money? How about, I think maybe all of us might have been at a point, my dad knows bazillionaires, there's car dealerships with their name on. He knew the guy when he had no money.
Right.
He used to lend him $1.
Right.
So, there's a point where you start with no money and there's nowhere to go but up or die.
So that's what my point is, right? That's why the saying necessity is the mother of invention was said by the ancient Greek philosopher Plato.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Necessity is the invention, is the mother of invention.
Oh, I didn't know that was Plato.
Yeah.
Good play.
These pressures are where you concentrate on. They're the vital area of the deal that you're trying to make that you must realize, focus on in order to experience positive results and or growth or success. So let me say that again. These pressures are where you need to concentrate on. They are the vital area of the deal that you must realize quickly, focus on in order to experience positive results and overgrowth and success. So that's why this is so important. You need to realize what are these pressures, because we're being philosophical here, and I'm probably boring the hell out of everybody on this podcast, but I said it was advanced, so I warned you before I came in, okay? So here you have this seller, right, that doesn't have knowledge of the 6 other deals other than cash. They think the only way they could sell is with a realtor in cash, right? So they have that knowledge, right? Their priority is based on that knowledge. So their priority is to just get cash because it's the only thing they know, because they haven't been taught any other way. Their priority is to just get cash because they haven't been taught how much it's going to cost them to sell. Their priority is that way because they don't know how much they're going to have to pay in capital gains tax. Their priority is all their priorities are laden into what they think they know, but they don't even know there's another way. Then you come along and say, oh, there's 6 other ways for me to buy your house. And the first thing that happens is they'll say, well, I never heard of that, so they'll question it. So now you have to have confidence and strength. And I'm going to get to this in a minute because I think the best part of the podcast is yet to come. So you need to overcome that because you have confidence, and you can demonstrate to them mathematically and with other things like maybe testimonials or other ideas, which, by the way, the book that I wrote a book for sellers explaining how we buy houses, and I am going to blatantly, overtly sell that book with the rights of the book. So that means I've written the book, I put my name on my version, but eventually when I get around to selling it, you're going to be able to buy the label rights, the public label rights, and put your name on the book so you can hand it to your seller, and now you have credibility because you wrote a book on how to buy houses. See how it works? It changes the status. Okay? The secret of being a real estate rainmaker, the only game in town with no competition and removing any resistance is this, Peter. You ready?
Yep.
I feel like I'm being really profound today.
Well, I think you are, but keep going. Just, as long as you pepper it with some examples, it makes it real, though. Just keep putting some examples for us
Good.
As we're following along here.
So the way to become a rainmaker is to create the standard. Okay? Mm-hmm. And here's an easy way to create a standard that everyone can use and get, or get it and use it. Okay, so here's how you create a standard. Okay, and I'm going to explain this in a second. Number one, you have a unique product or service. Look at Macintosh. Okay, do they have a unique product or service?
Yeah.
Did they create a standard?
Yeah.
They have a whole. They don't have customers. They have. What would you call them? They have fans. Like me, I'm a Mac user. I go to your house and I got to do some bookkeeping with your wife. It's like I don't even want to touch that PC. I feel like it's poison. Mm-hmm. I hate it. And I can't even understand in my entire life why somebody would buy a PC, because a PC has between 3 and 5 extra steps on every move than a Mac does. So that means if you do one thing, like opening your email, on a Mac it's 1 step, on a PC it's 2 or 3 steps.
We don't know any better. I didn't know that. And honest to God, I annoy. I want to print something. Print. You want to print it? Yeah, print. You want to print it again? I said print. It's 3 times the print. Just print the damn thing.
It's not like that. It's not like that on a Mac.
Right?
It's not like that on a Mac.
Well, that's good to know.
Okay.
That's good to know. Like I asked you once, why do I have to ask you 3 times? You're my damn computer. Print the damn file for me.
So you get where we're going with this. So your knowledge and your priority lie in there, right? So we're creating a standard now. So the first thing you could do is you can create a unique product and service. Well, I got to tell you, folks, in real estate, we have a unique product and service. You want to know what that is? Sitting down with somebody with the cost to sell worksheet and explaining to them before they pick their price how much it's going to cost them to sell a piece of real estate. That's a unique product or service. I've given it to you. You have it already. Okay? Number two, deliver or fulfillment. How are you going to deliver and what's the fulfillment? How do you make a standard? Well, Amazon's done that. They're the best one right now. How do they deliver? You buy Prime for $100 a year, right? Or $100, now it's $130 a year, and they deliver it to your front step. And they tell you right on the screen that it's going to be 3 days. We're going to deliver this by August 31st, and it shows up. Seldom I've had a package not show up.
Yeah.
That's creating a standard. Right?
It's crazy. Extremely convenient.
Yeah. So Amazon has now set a new standard of delivering packages.
Is that why Walmart?
They've exceeded FedEx, UPS, Walmart. They've exceeded all of them. He created a new standard of how to deliver packages.
Yeah.
Right? Which is why Walmart can't keep up with them, because they don't have that distribution center. Right?
Yeah.
Number 3, do it through education. That's how you create a standard. Right? Look at the Realtor Association since October of 1949. They indoctrinated their people. This is how you do it. To become a realtor, you have to go to realtor school and you have to pass their test so that they know that you're doing it the way they want it done. Right? You go to my school and you learn how to do creative real estate the way I've done it. Okay? So as far as I'm concerned, we have all 3 of these. We have a unique product or service. We know how to deliver or fulfill it. And we know how to educate people. Okay? Now add passion to it. That's the difference between you and me and everybody else, is the passion. And it becomes contagious. The more passion you add to it, the more contagious. Look at me. How many people I have following me? I mean, last I checked, I talked to 7,000 or 8,000 people a week. Okay, and I'm looking to do more. Okay.
Yeah.
Why do those people listen to me? It's my passion. You can hear it. Even when I'm talking about the governor of Connecticut that I've had a few texts and emails about. It's not as bad as I make it sound. It's just in the moment I make him sound like he's a knucklehead, and sometimes he is. But that's his position. You know what I mean? It's just how it is. Okay. Add some passion, and it becomes contagious. This takes you from mediocre to not just another investor in your area and being the rainmaker that everybody wants. Okay? And I believe the materials we use and teach here at Flipping Houses for Rookies, like the LTV, the 7 deal offer strategy, is a great start for your standards. Unless you know and listen to me, the seller won't know he or she has this many choices. Okay? And a great gauge, okay, so before I go on, the other thing I have to say is, why would you want to create a standard? Why is this important? Why am I talking about this? Because you want to make an offer to the seller that he or she is going to use every other offer to compare to. Yours is going to be the staple because it makes the most amount of sense, because you're giving him what or her what they want.
Yeah.
So now what they're going to do is they're going to go out and get other offers to see if they can get more of what they want or get a better deal.
Yeah.
You created the standard that they're going to compare all the other offers to make sure that they aren't going to get a better deal somewhere else, and they're going to always come back to you because you're giving them what they want because of the stuff we talked about earlier, and you figured out right away whether it's a pain or pleasure, and you're offering them exactly what's needed and wanted, and they're like, I wonder if I can get a better deal somewhere else, because that's just their nature. That's their personality trait.
They want offers. They want to see what the best one is.
Now, your offer became the standard. You have a unique product or service. Your fulfillment is the way they want it, and you've educated them on how it could be. So you just hit all three of the ways you can make a standard with one offer, right? Like we made an offer to the guy out in where were we the other day?
The Bristol one.
The Bristol house.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah,
how many people made him offers like we did? We did a finance offer. We did a cash offer. We did, you hold the money for a year offer. So he's going to compare those numbers and those offers to everybody else that comes in. Now, we could get beat out because instead of somebody giving him 88 or 90,000, they'll give him 100,000 in cash. But he used our offer as the standard to compare to. He wouldn't know that the $100,000 was good until we gave him our offer.
Right. Yeah.
So this whole podcast is all about figuring that out in the first 10 or 15 minutes you talk to somebody. Because when you do that and you deliver value, what they want, and you do these things subliminally, or you do these things naturally in a 10-minute conversation, you convert suspects into prospects. Is this making sense? Or am I too often left field?
No, it does. It does, because you're not the only one making an offer. I mean, I have people that I'm talking to. We're not the only ones there because they're looking for buyers, and there's other people involved. And you're smart at feeling like something we can do that's maybe going to be better than the other guy coming around. Like, hey, we can close really quick, cash.
Right.
Within a week of getting the deed or whatever, we'll close. And then, maybe get someone else with a higher offer. But maybe, if they'll close. Like I have a friend right now, he's got this offer from guys for last Friday, and piece of paper says $1,000 deposit, but he didn't even get the $1,000, and they're like behind now. Oh, we couldn't do this because he's not even getting his money. So what good is a piece of paper if they don't perform? We will pay.
And worse than that, we talked to him yesterday to find out that they've now communicated. Now they haven't communicated him in a month, and now he's sending texts like, "Are you okay there? You need to answer a text or something? Are you all right?"
Who?
You.
Me?
Yeah.
No. I got my coffee.
Oh, there's nobody else I'm talking to, so it has to be you, Peter. Come on.
Well, you have Reggie's there. And Desiree's
okay,
there.
I got it. Yeah. Anyways, we talked to this guy yesterday, and he's got a contract that says that he's supposed to have $1,000 deposit, which he doesn't have. But they finally communicated with him a day or so ago and saying, "Oh, because of COVID, our underwriter was sick, and we need more time." So not only does he not have a deal legally, but he's willing to extend it because why? Because they're giving him $171,000 on a house that if he didn't take this money, he would have to come out of his pocket 20 or 25 grand.
Yep.
So they've got him hooked because why? The value that they're giving him matches what he wants.
And he's waiting for it.
And he's got
don't like waiting.
He'll
wait for that.
He's got a completely bogus deal that he knows may or may not come to fruition, but he's willing to wait on the slight chance that they'll deliver him a $171,000 check. Because why?
Yep.
Because they struck the chord of we'll give you 171, and he owes 165 or 164, and where my deal, he's got to come. I can't pay that much. These guys are making a mistake. They're from out of state. They haven't seen the house.
They're funny.
Okay.
And so what's going to happen when they try to move forward? They're going to go look at the house and then back out?
I don't know what their exit strategy is. It could be they're in some REIT and they don't even care about the house. They're just trying to get the money in play, and they could put somebody and rent it in there, and it doesn't matter.
But they're the investment groups?
Yeah.
They're an investment,
Yeah. Okay. All right. So a great way to gauge your... I'm going to get in your face now. Not yours, but in everybody's face right now, okay? So a great way to gauge your success on these points that we're talking about, like are you giving value? Mm-hmm. A great way to gauge your success on these points is one question, and one question only, Peter. Mm-hmm. If you were to quit real estate, how many tears would shed?
Wait a minute. Say that again. I didn't expect that to... Go ahead. Say that again.
If you were to quit real estate, how many tears would shed?
Wow.
Do you have a realtor that's making money with you and they would beg you to stay in? Do you have a mortgage guy that's doing mortgage business with you that would beg you to stay in? Do you have buyers and sellers that are like waiting for you to deliver them houses? Do you have investors that are using their money and they would miss you if you stopped doing real estate? How many tears would shed? How many people would beg you to stay in real estate?
Gee, Bill, I know you have a few. I think I might have one if my wife cries. That's a good point.
So now we're back to the knowledge and the priority, because you think your real estate's important, but it's only important to you because of what you're doing. But how many people has it affected? How many people are making money, and how much value are you delivering to those people? Right?
Yep.
By the way, building a standard means the seller, the buyer, and the investor, not just the seller, the seller, the buyer, and the investor, okay, compare all their other choices to yours, like we talked about. So we're just talking about the seller. It's the investor too. I mean, Peter, you know, you were teasing me about this. How many people this week or this month or this quarter had their money guy call them up and say, "Hey, Bill, I've got $250,000 that I've got your name. I just moved some stuff around. I think he sold a piece of property. It came in, and he's like, I got $250,000, and it's got your name all over it."
Yep.
And now I have the problem of going in and putting that money in play. I have about $300,000 or $400,000 worth of money right now that's sitting in bank accounts that has my name on it, and I got to figure out how to use it. Right? So if I were to stop doing real estate, what would that investor want to do with me?
Well, he wish you were still doing it.
He tried to convince me to stay in, right? Why? Because he's making money.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's easy for him, and he's sure of it. You know, he writes a check, and he knows his money's coming.
Right.
It's not a gamble. It's not a maybe. It's a definite, because you do it over and over.
Right. So this is not written down here. I'm going to go off on a little tangent here. This is the 80-20 rule, right? Mm-hmm. If you're 20%, if 20% of what you do is hardcore on delivering value, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, that's going to make your 80% of what you make.
The guy that called me up and says he's got a few $100,000 to give to me.
He'll find some more.
Okay, think of it this way: do I have a relationship with him on how to make money? No.
Yeah.
No.
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 I have a relationship.
Well, not how to make
I have a relationship on how I can help him. He's got money. He can go anywhere to give it to anybody. He doesn't need to give it to me. Why does he want to give it to me?
Yeah, why does he pick you?
You just said it a few minutes ago, because I help him. I make it easy for him. I help him with his problems. I talk to him about other things. I'm constantly helping him. I've become a friend because I always help him. Because he's not just a money guy to me.
Right.
He's actually become a friend. Right? He started out as a coaching client, believe it or not.
Sure.
And I helped him with, he had a lifelong dream of taking a year off and doing some stuff, and I helped him with that.
Mm-hmm. He sailed a boat around.
Yeah. Right? So I concentrate on helping people. And you guys know, you're on my email list. We do this podcast every week just to help people.
Yeah.
Right? And it will come. I don't concentrate on making money. I pay attention to money, and I pay attention to the deal when it's time, but it's not just all about money with me. It's not like how can I sell everybody on this podcast one of my courses, which is why they're not 30 minutes long like some of the other guys. Right? Which is also the reason why I don't have, every week I don't have a different person I'm interviewing that's talking about their product. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's close up with my big fat promise at the beginning. Let's close up with talking about poker.
Okay.
Okay? Poker, the card game, poker.
Yeah.
There's this thing in poker called a telltale. Okay? Which means someone has revealed or indicated or tipped another off that something's going on. Or could be going on.
Yeah, something with his hand. A good hand, a bad hand.
It's usually a visual sign of something else going on, but it doesn't have to be visual. In poker, it's usually visual. So telltales are things like he moves his glasses, he itches his ear, he shifts in the seat, but there's things that happen with his body usually that tell a good poker player that's paying attention that something's good or bad.
Yep.
Okay? Now, I can't teach this, but I can tell you about it. Let's rephrase that. I don't want to teach this, but I can tell you about it. The core skill of any great investor is having the ability to observe or perceive this one often hidden or slight behavior. So you're talking to a seller and they have some sort of a body motion or some sort of a question or something that's a little bit different is a telltale. Mm-hmm. And most don't even know that telltales live, that they exist, right? I have examples, but I'm going to give you an off-the-cuff example. Somebody laughs when they get nervous.
Yeah. I have a music student, when he misses a note, he coughs. Every time. He floods. I bet he does that in life when he's talking to people and something happens and something gets messed up. I bet he coughs.
Right.
Every time. Coughs. It's the weirdest thing.
So here's what I want to do. To end off, instead of talking about it and trying to teach it to you, just let me give you some examples that I use. Okay?
Okay. Yeah.
So number one, the telltale is this. They say, I don't want to use a realtor. That's a telltale. Okay? Which means they owe too much and they don't want to pay fees. Right? They don't want to pay fees.
Yeah.
That's what it is. They don't want to pay fees. Or B, it's too long of a runway for their selling concerns, like their objective, right?
Yeah. Or
C, time is an issue. They have a deadline, and they don't trust the realtor could hit it. Those are so the telltale is, I don't want to use a realtor.
Right.
One of those things or more, it doesn't have to be just those things, but those are some of the common things that I've run into that are underneath so that you can dig into or pay attention to figure out what the pain is. It's a telltale, just like in poker.
Yeah.
Okay? Here's another one. Okay? Sorry, my VA's texting me. Here's another one. I need to walk away with 20 grand. Here's what I think.
You're wondering why. So
A thinks equity is a savings account. And he wants to go get his money to do something else. So obviously figure out what the something else is. Right?
Right.
So the something else is more pressure for him than having the equity. Like he's got to pay a college tuition bill, or he wants to buy his wife a new car, or he went through COVID and 6 months worth of no money, and now he needs to do payroll. Right? It's a savings account. B, isn't thinking about the buyer and how the buyer can get the money. Doesn't care anything about the buyer. This is the guy that's asking $20,000 over asking price. He has no conceptual understanding that there is going to be an appraisal and that the bank is only going to give so much money or lend so much money. So what he's looking for is somebody that has a substantial down payment that could put the money down and loan the right amount of money, which is not most people.
Right.
So the telltale is that he's a bit introverted and he only gives a shit about him and he care less about you. Okay? Or 3, he has pain or he has pleasure and you got to find it. Right? What is the pain that he needs the 20 grand for? Or what is the pleasure that he wants the 20 grand for? So let me give you a couple examples, just off ad hoc. So the pain is he needs 20 grand to pay the taxes, because if he doesn't pay the taxes with it by the end of the month, he's going to lose the house. Pleasure is he needs 20 grand because he wants to buy a new sailboat. They're both motivating. Until you know which one. Now, I want to repeat that. They're both motivating, but how do you deal with it? Differently. Each one, the pain, you deal with it one way. The pleasure, you deal with it another way. The pain, right? So, AKA, you ready? Please pay attention to this. I hope I'm not too profound on this, because I might just be too underwater with this. I asked the question, which you guys have heard me say, what's more important to you? Getting your price or selling quickly? That question elicits if it's pain or pleasure. right? So if they want to sell quickly, it's a pain point. If getting
And
their
he has
price,
to.
if it's getting your price, it's a pleasure point.
Yeah,
So
meaning he can wait.
what's that?
Meaning he can wait. It's not an urgent thing. It's something he wants, and he can wait for that a little bit.
So the pain point is we need to move quick.
Yeah.
The pleasure point is we need to swell his greed glands so he can get more than what he thinks he can get. That's delivering value to your suspect so he turns into a prospect. That's creating a standard that nobody else will match. That's the offer that he likes, that he's going to go compare with everybody else that he can't get anywhere else, so he's going to stick to you like glue. Is it making sense?
Yeah. Say the question. Say that question again, because I have a way to say that. Yours is better though, because we talked about that. I was saying something a little different. I like the way you put it. Say it again.
Yeah. So what's more important to you, getting your price
Or selling quickly.
or selling quickly?
Good.
Right. It tells you whether it's plain or pressure. So
Yeah.
how far into the conversation do you have to be to ask that question? Minutes. Minutes. Right?
Yeah, and it's a good question because it's not just about the price. Sometimes people are in a hurry.
Right.
Sometimes they're not in a hurry.
So if you follow that question up with, what would have to happen for me to buy your house today, Peter? If you juggernaut at those two questions, how long would it take you to figure out pain or pleasure? How long would it take you to figure out how you could deliver value? Let's role play it for 2 seconds. I know we're heading towards the end here, and I still have a few more minutes. But Peter, I saw you. So okay, I got it. It's too bad. It's a 3-bedroom. And you're asking, like $275. Let me ask you this question: what's more important to you, getting your price or selling quickly?
I really want the 275.
Okay. So what would have to happen for me to buy your house today?
I'd like the 275, or as close as you can get to it.
So if I give you the 275, you'll sell me the house?
Hell yeah.
Here's how it works. Bam. How hard was that?
No. 1, 2, 3.
What was that, 1 minute?
42 seconds.
Here's another telltale. You ready?
Yeah.
I don't want to do terms. Okay? A, he's not educated, going back to the standards, he's not educated on it enough and has false impressions of an outcome. He doesn't know that he could rent and not be a landlord. Okay? B, has a pressure of pain they are not revealing. C, worried about possible damage or no payment because of grandma's story.
Yeah.
So these are telltales, and when you know how to deal with these telltales, because you know what these underlying... I'm just giving you examples. There's many more than that. But when somebody says, I don't want to do terms, that's a telltale. You stop and you ask questions. You dig in at that point. You put your attention on that until you get that figured out, because you cannot deliver value until you find out what's going on with why he says, I don't want to do terms. Because if you don't handle that, you're not getting past it.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Right? So let's just role play real quick, okay? So you tell me I don't want to do terms.
Oh, no, I don't want to do terms.
Okay. Have you heard of a time in the past where somebody did that and they didn't do so well with it?
Well, I used to rent, and I just don't like being a landlord.
Okay. So what if you could rent and not have the landlord obligations? Would that be interesting to you?
Yeah, how do you do that?
So basically what happens is I'm going to stay in the deal and I'm going to take on the responsibilities of all the landlord obligations.
Oh, really?
So you keep collecting your money, and I take on the landlord responsibilities. I put it in my system, and we take care of all that.
And what do you get out of it?
It depends on the deal. It depends on how we do it, but I'm gonna make some monthly cash flow, and I'm gonna get some equity. Not a lot, just a little bit. So I'm gonna be like part owner in the deal.
Okay.
So all you got to do is share a little bit of the payment and some of the equity, and I do all the work. But here's the thing: equity is defined as how much money you bring to the closing table minus your expenses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to give you, because I know I'm making you wait for your money, I'm going to give you a higher number of what I'm going to bring to the table when it's time than most others will.
Yeah.
So even though you're giving me a percentage of your equity and a percentage of your payment, I'm going to give you a higher number when we get to the end. So I'm actually the buyer is paying me, not you.
Yep.
Okay. See how simple that is?
That's good. Yeah, that comes up. Could you write that down sometime? I think we all need that because that's probably one of the most common objections. So I don't want to do terms.
Screw you, you bunch of lazy bastards. I just recorded it on this podcast, so go listen to this podcast again and write it down yourself. Don't make me do all the work. Come on,
okay,
Peter,
Bill.
you lazy bastards.
Okay, Bill. I'm just sitting with my arms folded, huh?
Number 4, a lag in an answer. A lag in an answer, or answers a question with a question, or gives you a no answer. So Peter, why don't you give me an example of a no answer? So Peter,
Yeah.
How much do you owe on the house?
Well, I've had it for a number of years, and I've paid it down some, but I still owe some.
Okay. Did he answer the question?
No.
No, he gave me a no answer. Peter, now give me a correct answer. Peter, how much do you owe on the house?
$130,000.
He answered the question. The other answer didn't answer the question. Pay attention to that. Those are misdirectors.
Yep. Just because somebody flaps their gums don't mean they're answering. They're talking, but they're not answering.
Right.
You know what your answer is. Just if you don't get it, just keep getting it.
And the misdirector is they are trying to divert the conversation, usually because you're too close and they don't want to be found out. Right?
Yeah.
They want to take your attention away from where you are at that point because it's not where they want to be. It's making them uncomfortable. Okay? So so this answer is a little bit technical, but it's a lag in an answer. So Peter, we're going to do two kinds of lags, okay? So one is just a hesitancy, and another one is going to be a communication lag.
I mean, just like taking a long time to really get to the answer?
Multiple answers that aren't no answer answers.
Yeah.
Okay, so the first one is, Peter, how much do you owe on your house? There you go.
Well,
that's a lag. There you go.
Yeah.
So you're
trying to think, how do I not tell the guy? I don't want to tell him. How do I say?
Dig into that. Okay, now let's do the other one, which is a no answer a couple times. So Peter, how much do you owe on your house?
Oh, I've been paying it off for like 10 years.
Okay, so how much do you owe?
Originally, the mortgage was $170.
Right. So how much do you owe?
170, 10 years. I'm down to 148.
Okay, good. So that is also a lag that most people do not stick with. They get onto a misdirector. So let's do it again. Let's do it again the wrong way. So Peter, how much do you owe?
Oh, I've been paying on the house for 10 years.
Oh, okay. So that means you bought the house in what year?
Well, 2010.
Okay. And how much do you think you paid it down?
About $14,000-15,000.
Who has the mortgage?
It's with Deutsche Bank.
How much interest do you pay?
I'm at 4.25.
Okay, so you see what happened was I said to him, Peter, how much do you owe?
Yeah.
He said, I even forgot what you said. You had.
I said 10. I've been paying for 10 years.
So here's what happened: I stopped asking. I never got an answer to the question, and I went off on a whole bunch of other questions that didn't mean anything and didn't give me the answer, and I never got the answer to my question.
Yeah, you need an amortization table to work that one out.
Right? So when I did it the correct way, all I said was he said his answer, and then I asked the question again politely. And he didn't give me an answer, and I asked the question again politely, until eventually he had to ask the question. That is a communication lag of its own. It's not just you didn't talk for a couple minutes. It was that you didn't answer the question directly.
Yeah, if you think of it as an answer lag, it might be easier, because just because somebody's talking doesn't mean they're communicating. They're saying things. But if you think of it as an answer lag, that might help.
Right.
Did I get my answer? Is that lagging?
That's a good
Just
point.
Just my 2 cents.
That's a good point.
Answer lag.
All right, so
it's not really called that, but I thought I would make up a new name today. Answer lag.
That's a great definition. A great way to describe it. Okay, so why is he doing this? So, like I said, A, you're too close, and they don't want to reveal something, the truth usually. B, they just realized you were right about something, and they don't want to admit it, and you haven't given them a face saver so they could be right.
That's funny.
Okay? Or C, they were lying and you caught them.
What a game, huh?
Yeah.
What a game.
Number 5, because I want to buzz through. We're 5 minutes over our 90-minute mark. So they need to talk to someone else about the decision. This is a telltale. They need to talk to somebody else about the decision. Okay? A, they're trying to escape. They're trying to blow the area. Blow means leave quickly. The conversation or the area, they don't want to be around you anymore. And because you handled all their objections, and they don't know what else to do. So they're trying to escape. Okay? B, they don't understand something and they want to go research it. Okay? And C, not all the decision makers are in the room. Even if they say no, they can make all the decisions, but they can't. Now, I've had this where I pre-qualify, make sure who's on the deed, have all the decision makers in there. No, my mom is 94 years old. She can't be there, but I make all the decisions. I'm power of attorney, POA they call it.
Right.
You get in the house, you do your presentation, you get down to the nitty-gritty, and right away, what do they say? I got to talk to my mom. It's her money. Okay? So what happens? Number 6, and I got 2 more. So number 6, they want all cash, no terms. It's a telltale. Okay? They want all cash, no terms. A, they think their plan is solid and have not been humbled yet. So that, again, like we're telling, when they go to do the standard, like they have your standard offer and they're going to compare everybody else to your offer. This is the same way with the plan. So they're saying that they want all cash, no terms, because they think their plan is correct, and they're just talking to you because you might have something better they haven't thought of. Like maybe you would be stupid enough to just pay them all cash, no fees, and just let them have what they want. So they're curious. So they called you out of curiosity. They did not have any seriousness in doing a deal with you unless they stumbled across something that was so amazing that they never heard of before. They're not going to do business with you because they have another plan. They have plan A, your plan B. Right? Don't deal with people if you're plan B because they suck. Okay? They want all cash. They want all cash, no terms. So the telltale B is they want to disconnect from the property for some reason. So they want all cash because something about the property, it's their brother fighting with their wife, there's some property, they hate the property, they had bad experiences in there, they had cancer and they almost died in the house, the mother died in the house. I don't know, there's all kinds of reasons, but they want to disconnect it from the property. They want nothing to do with it, so they're only willing to take cash, get a deed, walk away, never see it again. Okay?
Yeah, and you offer them more money for a terms deal. It's not the point. That's not what they want. They want to just go away.
It's not the right value. You're giving them the wrong value. No. Because
it's not always money.
Right. So the telltale tells you whether they want what the value is, and is it a pain thing or is it a pleasure thing? Okay.
Yeah.
So letter C, they are delusional about the process and the cost to sell. And you need to let them humble.
Yeah, because there's this thing called the market that tells them what's really going to happen. It's not up to them or us.
So I've been doing this and have done hundreds and hundreds of deals. I'm not lying about that, and I'm not bragging about it. I personally feel I cannot pick the price of a house. I cannot tell anybody what a house is worth.
When you're selling?
Nope. When I'm buying or when I'm selling, I cannot tell what a house is worth. I cannot tell you how much it's worth.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, if you don't know what it's going to sell for, you don't know really what it's worth in the first place. Okay.
So what I do is I pick a range of what I think it is. Right? So I think it's somewhere in the range of $210,000. I bring it to the market and ask the guy that's going to pay me, hey, what do you think this house is worth?
Yeah.
And he says, I'll pay $205. And somebody else says, I'll pay $206. And somebody else says, I'll pay $203. Is it worth $210? No. All I did was get in a range so the market could tell me how much it's worth. Right? I never know how much a house is going to sell for until I get the money, till I close. I could even write a contract and I'm still not sure how much I'm going to get. Until I close and get my checks and everything gets paid off, I have no idea how much it was. Right? You ask me all the time, how much are we going to make? I don't know. Why don't you do that? That's a weirdness, Bill. Why don't you do that? Because so many things could happen between now and us getting our check.
No, I found that. I think I stopped asking because I found that out to be true.
Yeah.
So you just go through the process.
You just go through the process. You have a general idea and you go through the process. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Okay? 7, and the last telltale example. How am I doing with these examples? Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, good.
Yeah.
Number 7. They ghost you. Or they don't call you back. A, the telltale is they feel you have no value and won't want to waste their time with you anymore. Okay? So, at the sake of sounding perverted, you shot your load, man. When you talk to them, you shot your load. It's like it's all over. I'm sorry for being disgusting, but it's all over. The grand finale is over. They got from you what they wanted, which was what? The offer, and they don't like it. You think, now people pretend. Most people are pretenders. They have this social veneer that they'll pretend like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's a really good offer. I'll talk to my husband about it. I'll let you know. I really like it. They're pretenders. They're fake. They're actors. They belong in Hollywood. They're really good. They're really good. Most of them are really damn good. And then once they leave, they never talk to you again. They ignore you. That's because they got what they wanted, and the value, your evaluation of their value conveyance was not correct. Your evaluation of your value conveyance was not correct. One more time. Your evaluation of your value conveyance was not correct. You missed what their true value was, because if you knew what it was, they would stick to you. They would chase you. They don't ghost you.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's why I time release information, because until I'm ready to disconnect from somebody, I don't give them everything they want. When I give them the offer, like yesterday we made the offer to the dude with the house, Paul.
The attorney?
No, Paul.
Oh, Paul's, yeah.
the attorney's name's not Paul.
No, Paul. Yeah,
So,
I got you.
so when we talk to Paul, right, I'm ready to disconnect from him. So I gave him my cash offer. I told him what it was. At this particular point, if I talk to him, hooray. If I don't care. I'm done with him. Yeah. Oh, yeah, by the way, all this stuff goes in, when they say no and all this stuff happens, you put them into follow-up and you keep tripping on them. Because all of a sudden, a month from now, 2 months from now, 3 months from now, the value that you offered them might all of a sudden be appealing to them because things changed in their life.
Yeah.
But you created a standard because now they know the value you're delivering them. Okay? They ghost you. They never call you back. B, they felt pressure in your last conversation and don't want the pressure again. That's the salesmanship, trying to close. That's the person that's trying to make money, trying to learn how to make money with money. They're not help. The help factor is out. They're not just trying. They don't have, the investor doesn't have himself in the seller's shoes. They're not pretending like they're on the other side of the table. They're not helping. They're not passionate. They're not doing the right things. They're just all about money. I got a couple coaching clients like that, and I just realized this recently. When they go in to make offers, it's all about money. It's not about helping them. Okay? The last one, they ghost you and never call you back, is C, someone else told them that they were crazy for doing the deal and they should get away from you as fast as possible.
Yeah, the hidden party.
Now these three, if you know these three, and there's more, but if you know these three, then now when you leave a message, you can say something like, gee, I know when we talked last time, I gave you my price. Obviously, you don't like it because you're not calling me back. I have another idea that I think you'll like a lot, so let's chat just for a couple minutes.
That's pretty straightforward.
Okay? How about this one? So I realized when I was with you in the house, I really was like, I had too much pressure on you and I was like trying to like treat you like a used car salesman. I apologize for that and hopefully you'll forgive me enough to talk to me again. I have another idea that I'd like to talk to you about. Right?
But see, you always leave it open in the end for them to respond. Like you leave something at the end. I got a text the other day, somebody wants me to do something, and they ended it with like, hey, just do it. They didn't ask a question like, what do you think? Let me know, or anything to like call back like, oh, click, end. But you leave something at the end for the person to respond to.
Right. So the bottom line, Peter, the bottom line, Peter, is people say no to what they don't understand. So it's your job to see these telltales and confront them immediately so you can educate the seller enough to bring in a new awareness. You have to raise their awareness on what you're trying to do. And that helps sellers. When you can bring to light how the process is going to work and how much money they're going to bring and keep talking about their value. You don't talk about you, you talk about their value. By sticking to you, how are they going to get their value? And that creates a standard that others will compare their offers to, or the seller will compare other offers to your standard because you set the standard, because who else is trying to help them? Who else is trying to get them $20,000 over market value? Who else is trying to get them out by Friday? Who else is going to pay the city hall, the tax assessor's bill so they don't foreclose or have a tax sale on your steps? Right? I mean, it can go on and on and on and on. Who else is going to help Margaret go retire with her son in Vermont and give her a chunk of dough to do that? Who else is going to do that?
The realtor?
Right. Yeah, we did it on her timeline, and we gave her more than what the realtor would give her. Okay? So that helps sellers, that conveys value, and that makes deals. Okay? So I stuffed a lot in this podcast. I hope you I didn't kind of do some weird shit here, go over your head, and but no. This is theory. This is the theory that you can think with, so you can go out and do these things.
I just have one question on myself and behalf of all the other rookies and rookettes. having gone over so many telltales and so many things that can go wrong, it almost seems like a lot of hurdles. So is it really this hard? Or is this just like how you can salvage some of the ones on the edge when you get better at it, and the easy ones are easy? Because I know there's a lot of easy ones out there. So I'm not sure if that's a good question, but is it that hard, having presented all these possible ways that
I'm
going
to short stop you right there, okay?
Yeah.
If you use the scripts and you use my sentences like, what's more important to you, the price or selling quickly? What would have to happen if all these shortcut all this stuff? I'm giving you the theory behind where these questions come from. You don't have to go invent this stuff. Just use what I'm teaching you. Use the questions. Use the scripts, and it will shortcut all this.
Good. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because, you know, you've done it so much that you have questions that just circumvent all this stuff so it doesn't even have to come up.
And I'm giving you the theory of why those questions work. So today we're just talking theory so you understand why they're there. I'm not telling you to study any different. I'm not even telling you this is hard. I'm telling you that I have figured this stuff out and I made it easy for you by giving you the questions. Just go get them. Just go get them.
I think I'll look at the scripts again and just notice how it solves those.
Right.
And then just, take the worry out of having to be really smart like you. Half smart would be okay.
I don't feel like I'm smart, but I'm dumb enough to do thousands of offers to kind of start observing this stuff, and there you go.
Yeah, you've gone through a learning curve for years and years and years, and someone like me who's just a few years in, or someone who's like a few months in, it's like, oh my God, how am I going to be able to do this? Well, that's a great answer, the scripts.
Yep.
Perfect,
They're powerful.
I feel better now.
Okay. Good. So we're going to go because we're yet again 20 minutes over the 90 minutes, which I don't want to do, but there we go. Make sure you scroll down in the description. You go get some free stuff. That's where the scripts are. Make sure you give me a review or give Peter and I a review, and make sure you subscribe to our channel. Okay. Thanks for being with us. Thanks all the guys, Desiree and Reg and Jessica and all of you that are on Facebook that send me in questions. Thanks for being on YouTube. I hope you check us out, Flipping Houses for Rookies. There's a lot of stuff there for you so you can get this thing going. I'm telling you, we're currently in September of 2020, and I think the next 18 months with everything going on with the pandemic and the election, the next 18 months is going to be the easiest time to get in real estate in history. So just keep connected to us, and we will help you with that. Okay? Over and out. Thanks again.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.